Yo, that beat bumps, bro. That beat is bumping.
Fire.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Think Big podcast. I'm your host, along with my co-host. I'm a co-host. I'm not even the host. I'm the co-host, Marlon Johnson, hanging out with my boy Daryl Ellison. We got Alejandro Alvarez and Sam Singh joining us from Puerto Rico.
Puerto
Come
Rico.
on, yo.
What?
Yo, so
Man, that's where you're at.
yo, I can't believe it right now. We are on episode 17.
17.
Which has been consistent. It's been 17 weeks, right?
Mhm.
It's 17 weeks since we started this podcast, and the feedback I get is phenomenal. I mean, people have just reached out and said thank you. I mean, it's kind of cool actually. It's honoring and humbling where people will say I've gotten more from this podcast than I've gotten from some mentorship programs I've joined, and I'm like, holy crap, that's insane. And we want to continue with that mission to over deliver value. So before we get started today, I just want to say if you are here for the first time, welcome. We're going to be really breaking down the essence of how do you think big as an entrepreneur? How do you start to leverage your thought process, leverage your network, leverage every resource you have in order to achieve success? We're going to be tapping everything from A to Z. And what I want you to do before we get started is I want you to share this out with a friend. Because as the community grows, as we get more people inside here, we start to be able to create some really cool things. So today, the topic is staying consistent in 2013 or 2023, not 2013.
13.
And I don't know a better human to talk about consistency than the man himself, Alejandro Alvarez, because this man is so freaking consistent. I got to tell them this, Alejandro. He's so consistent. He started 75 hard while going through COVID. And this man was sick as a dog and was still just getting his work. Like he was literally crawling himself out of bed onto the balcony, shivering, freezing, unable to smell, unable to taste. And he's still doing his workouts outside.
Dang.
Like this man is a savage. He does not stop for anything. He is consistent as all can be. So today we're going to be talking about how to remain and stay consistent in 2023. So I'm going to pass the mic over to y'all, but I want to pass it over to my man Daryl for a minute so that Daryl could say something.
Bro, just welcome to the Think Big podcast, bro. You already introduced it enough, bro. I'm ready to hear what Alejandro got to say, man. This guy is the most consistent person that I know, honestly. Like whenever I have doubts, I don't have doubts about my consistency whenever I'm having trouble with my consistency because it always happens, right? This is why it's important to have a boardroom of trusted advisors that you reach out to when you go through these things. Like when I'm having trouble with my consistency, I reach out to Alejandro, and Alejandro's like, yo, you need to do this. You need to remember why you're doing it. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever he says, whatever, all the shit that he's about to drop today, all the sauce that he's about to drop today, he spills it to us as well. So I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. I'm hyped. For sure.
Yo, I want to say
Go ahead, say it. My bad, bro.
Alejandro's like, yo, bro, I don't even get to talk today.
Right.
like okay, Alejandro, this is Alejandro's show. I just want to give him his flowers, right? So one thing about Alejandro that people forget, there's two types of consistency, right? There's actually multiple types of it, but one thing that I keep always seeing, it drives me freaking insane, is the guys who are consistent by screaming that they're consistent, right? The ones who are the loudest on earth, right? The ones who are on social media all day, every day saying, you can't outwork me. I'm the hardest worker. Ain't nobody showing up more than me. Guess what? Those guys are trying to prove a point to themselves. The one thing that I like about Alejandro, there's a lot of things I like about him, but this is one of the things I love about him the most, is there is quiet consistency, right? It's easy to be consistent and it's easy to be motivated and focused when everyone is watching you. It's extremely difficult to do it when no one is watching, right? When the camera isn't on, when the audience isn't there, when you're waking up 8 hours before everybody else, that's when it matters because that's when shit needs to get done. That's when consistency shows up, right, guys? Like full transparency, I was thinking about it today. I was like, damn, I'm in Puerto Rico. Like this place is almost like another country, guys. It's wild over here. I could have come up with 25 million different reasons to not be here. And I was like, no. What would Alejandro do? Alejandro shows up. Alejandro doesn't make excuses. So with that being said, I have to give him his flowers because there's people who are loud and they're the ones who I know consistency goes away once the camera turns off. But whether the camera's on or off, I know Alejandro's working. Day in, day out, he's a focused human being. He's done a lot of things in his mindset, right, in his personal development to be able to get to that level of not just consistency. I want to throw another word out there: discipline. So with that being said, Alejandro, can you give us some sauce, bro?
Real quick before he does that, I just want to talk about how we're going to trademark that WWAD. What would Alejandro do? Because I ask myself that question every single day, bro. What would Alejandro do? And that gets me back going.
I like that.
So WWAD, give us some sauce, bro.
Well, thank you guys for the introduction. That was great. I appreciate you, Sam. Yes, I do this in the quiet. And the fact that Sam, Daryl, even Myron, like the fact that you remember the whole COVID thing, that actually caught me off guard. Because I was like, I remember you and I did a podcast before. How long ago was that, Marlon?
Bro, that was the first one we did. Because your story is so deep. The first one we did was, I think, maybe like 6 months ago, like 5 or 6 months ago, bro. But it inspired me. It stuck with me. Like those sort of stories, like when you tell me that kind of thing, it really sticks with me. And even this morning, bro, I woke up at 4 a.m. And it happened because last night, Daryl and I were sitting around the campfire, and I realized I was letting myself get soft, right? I was getting weak on myself. And I was like, man, I was letting the bitch voice win. And then I could hear you saying, don't let the bitch voice win. I can hear you. Like, I don't hear Andy Pasella. Some people hear Andy Pasella. I hear Alejandro Alvarez. Like, bro, I appreciate you, man, so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, brother. I'll tell you guys, I didn't always have the consistency, man. I was that guy that made excuses on why I'm not being consistent, and why I shouldn't do this, or why I didn't finish this. I've been that guy. And it got to a point in my life about almost 3 years ago when I looked at my bank account and I was like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on here? I feel like I'm the best closer at doing certain things. And at the time I was working at a dealership, I feel like I'm the best closer. I make money, but why is my bank account doesn't have enough funds to do what I want to do in my life? What is going on? And at that moment, there was a lot of things going on in my life at that time. And I had to ask myself, what have I been doing for the past few years of my life that has brought me here where I'm at today? And it's almost like running KPIs on yourself. Like, what did you do? How many times did you party? How many times did you actually work? How many times did you do something productive? And just being honest, man, after I did that, after I ran those numbers were not looking good. There was a lot of unnecessary things I was doing in my life at the time that was not helping me to get to the next level. And what was it? I think that was between the time when I was breaking up from a 3-year relationship. And I actually separated myself from the relationship because I was no longer the person that person met 3 years ago. I was becoming someone new that was no longer valuable to that person in the way that she saw me. And I say that because for you to create consistency and have this discipline, you will have to become a different human, a different person, to a point where, like, your friends, they're like, hey, man, I don't even know you anymore. You're crazy. I've heard all of that for the past few years. And it gets to a very lonely spot because you're becoming this new person. And once you become this new person, you're gonna make new friends, and your old friends are no longer going to resonate with you, whatever you do. Same thing with your relationships, right? So That's when I started doing 75 hard because I was just done. I had nobody that I could have went to tell them what was going on. Like, I need to create discipline. Nobody was able to guide me there. So I heard 75 hard from my barber. He did 75 hard and he told me about 75 hard. And when he first told me, I was like, oh yeah, bro. Like, I wake up too early for the dealership. I work 70 to 80 hours a week. I can't do this 75 hard thing. Gave up alcohol? What? Are you crazy? At that time, I used to love drinking scotch. Oh my God. Bro, when you say you got to give up alcohol, I'm like, yeah, bro, you're crazy. Get out of here. That's not going to happen.
Damn, I would have never thought, bro.
What was that?
So I would have never thought. I would have never thought that you was a drinker, bro.
Yeah, because you don't know the old me, dog. He's gone, bro. Complete 180.
Yo, I just want to jump in and say one thing, bro. Like I actually tweeted this the other day. It's crazy. I said, because I heard somebody quote this. They said, when somebody tells you that you've changed, that's one of the best compliments you could have ever gotten. They could ever give you. Right.
Yep.
Especially if you came from a shitty past or a dark past or a past that you weren't proud of, right? And you're constantly trying to grow, and somebody tells you that you changed, like that's one of the best compliments you can get. I'm loving this story, bro.
Yep. I'm just giving a quick story, the long story shorter, so that way I can get into my whole journey. Because if you guys are looking to create discipline, you're going to go through things that it's going to be very uncomfortable. And I just want to tell you the story to let you know that I did went through those uncomfortable moments. It's very uncomfortable, right? So it got to a point, like, again, I had no one to talk to. I had to record myself on why am I going through this? Why am I going through this massive change that I want to do in my life? I had to record myself because the only person that could believe what I was saying was myself. I can't go to my old friend and tell him, hey, bro, I'm going to stop drinking alcohol. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get my 6 abs again. I'm going to be financially successful. I can't go back to my old circle and tell them that. They're not going to believe me because they've known me for so many years from being this specific person that I was trying to remove myself from. So anyway, I started doing 75 hard. That was at the moment, everyone looks at it as a challenge. It's 75 hard challenge. And man, honestly, what I did there in that moment was plug in my headphones and I was just listening to Andy Frisella's podcast. As you can see, I'm a big fan. I have the cup right here. Brought out the 75 hard cup today. And man, I felt like Andy Frisella was the only one that was like just consistently telling the older version of myself to remove yourself. Get out, get out, get out. Like, you don't want to work out? Like, get on the floor and do some push-ups. Just beat that inner voice that tells you, hey, don't do push-ups today. Just beat it. Even if it's 5 push-ups. And the whole reasoning behind the Live Hard program, it's not a 75 hard. I'm not here to sell it. I don't get paid for it. I don't know Andy Frisella personally. Never met him. Pretty sure I will one day. The whole thing behind 75 hard, a lot of people think it's a fitness challenge. It's not. It's a mental challenge, right? It's supposed to create discipline and help you create consistency. And you can do that by doing a lot of uncomfortable stuff. You don't want to do your bed? Do your bed. You don't want to work out? Go work out, right? The challenge entails of you doing 2 workouts a day, no alcohol, read 10 pages from a physical book, a gallon a day, and no cheat meal. Follow a diet. Right? It's not really specific on a diet. It's just follow a diet and stick to it for 75 days straight. I do it for a year straight. Right? So 75 days, right? And a lot of people, when they do that 75 hard thing.
Talking about, bro. Hold on, bro. I was hoping somebody else was gonna jump in. We're not about to just brush right past that. This is a 75-day challenge. This isn't no easy challenge, right? Most people drop out. Shit, I dropped off. I didn't finish 75 hard yet, which something I keep telling myself I'm going to do. But I've made it to like day like 30, and I haven't finished it. Right? A lot of people don't finish this. And Alejandro just literally said he's done this for a year straight. He said 365 days hard.
Bro, I want to highlight something on that. I didn't mean to cut you off. You just got me all excited.
Nah, cut me off, bro.
The energy
Cut
in
me
the
off,
house.
dog.
Yo, because real talk, like this is where like my appreciation for Alejandro got even higher because I've gone through 75 hard. Now I've only completed it once, and I gotta emphasize completed it once because I attempted it several freaking times. I think I've failed 75 hard at least like 7 times. And what's interesting is I want to highlight something about every time I failed. When I failed, see, Alejandro explained what needed to be done: the 2 workouts, the reading of the book, the drinking of the gallon, the no alcohol, the no cheat meals, the getting up and having the physical exercise and all that, taking the progress picture. The progress picture. I failed on the progress picture several times. And what's interesting about it was the very first time I failed on the progress picture, I was about 40-something days into this challenge. And internally, when no one was around and no one was watching, I said to myself, oh, screw it. Like, it's just a picture. Like, no one even saw you. Did the workouts. You drank the water. You did the hard stuff. Like, the picture's not actually making you a better human being. It's not. And what was really interesting, and this is how, like, the universe works, and Andy Frisella, freaking smart for this. I get an automated email in my inbox. And for some reason, I look at my spam inbox, and I never look at it. But today I did. That day I did. And it says, you know why most people fail 75 hard? It's not the big things. It's the progress photo. The progress photo takes most people out. And here's the reason why. When people go to accomplish a goal, they tell themselves that the small details don't matter.
Mm.
And bro, I felt like a knife got right into my gut and was being twisted. And so then when I look at Alejandro, I'm looking at a man that, like, yo, he doesn't ignore the small details. He doesn't discount the small details. If it's a part of the mission, it's a part of the mission. So I just want to highlight that because I don't think people understand the gravity of discipline. Discipline doesn't mean I do a part of it. I do some of it for some of the time, for most of the time. I always stick with it. And again, you are the most disciplined, one of the most disciplined people I know.
Thank you.
I wanna highlight something. I gotta ask a question. You mentioned something. I'm surprised you didn't go into it. I think it's because you're being nice because we're live and you don't want to say bad words live. You mentioned a voice that was in your head, and it was telling you to basically slow down. It was telling you to stop, right? Well, what do we call that voice, bro?
We'll call that the bitch voice.
Explain the bitch voice.
Bitch voice is pretty much that voice, that inner voice that tells you it's okay. You worked hard today. You can complete that task tomorrow. You don't have to do 10 more push-ups. It's fine.
Yep.
Just work out for 45 minutes. Even though you told yourself you're going to work out for an hour, you're going to complete it in 45 minutes anyway. That's all it needs for you to complete the challenge. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Right? That's your bitch voice.
Now let me I want to make this point clear, guys, because this goes across everything, right? This goes across working out. This goes across, picking up the phone and dialing. This goes across so many different things. That bitch voice, even though it sounds like you in your head, you think it's you, it's not. It's all the bullshit in your life that has conditioned you to become complacent and has rewarded you with convenience and comfortability. When you give into complacency, that bitch voice is not your friend. It is not you. It is not your best friend. It is actually everything wrong with you. So when it tries to convince you to do something, you have to treat that bitch voice like a bitch. Alejandro, back to you.
No problem. And it's interesting you say that, Sam. How Andy Frisella explains the bitch voice. It's actually very beneficial for you to listen to the bitch voice if you use it correctly. And I'll tell you how. Right? So in the book, he says, this is legit. This is like the simplest sentence that helped me understand what needs to be done to create discipline. He said in that book, use your bitch voice as a trigger to do the complete opposite. That's going to help you become more disciplined. I remember when I first started doing 75 hard, I was playing Call of Duty at the time. I don't play it anymore, but I was playing Call of Duty at the time, and I was going in, bro, and I heard this voice, do 10 push-ups. I don't know why. I'm playing video games, bro. Do 10 push-ups. And I'm like, nah, I'm playing video games, bro. I legit dropped the remote and I got on the floor and played 10 push-ups. I still won the game, by the way. I still won it. So if you use your bitch voice correctly, it could be very beneficial for you. So yeah, the 75 hard, this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, that's the Live Hard program. It's a lot of nuance to it. You guys should look it up. If you're interested, if you're not, don't look it up. That's how I personally create discipline. And I'm still working on it till today. There's times where I don't want to do certain things and I still do it. I've had times where I want to read book, had to read. Marlon, you remember, I've texted you, read 100-page that day. Read 100-page, bro. It is 4 hours past my bedtime. I have tears in my eyes. My eyes are watery. I'm reading 100-page. And I go to, like, the way you wake up after you executed everything you told yourself, it's like you feel so much power within yourself. And I had this conversation with another friend of mine. You guys haven't met him, but he's not in the same group as us. He owns a solar company. And he said, man, it like when you execute everything you told yourself, like you feel like a god, like you have this power to become someone you've never met. Like you feel unstoppable. And like Marlon was saying with my story when I caught COVID, I don't know what the heck happened. Here, I'll tell you this: 75 hard. The first day I started 75 hard, snow started coming in Dallas, Texas. It was the biggest snowstorm, if I remember correctly. I did it. I had to do my outside workout with sneakers. I don't have boots for snow. We were in Texas. Phase 1, that's when I caught COVID. And for some reason, I woke up, I felt like 1,000 pounds was standing on my chest. It was just sitting on my chest. I'm like, what the heck is this? On the first day of phase 1, and my whole body was cold. I can't make this stuff up, guys. And one of the tasks in phase 1 is you have to take 5 minutes cold shower. And I was so frustrated that day because I felt like someone did not want to see me win. And I was so sick and tired of not winning that I threw myself off the bed and I dragged myself to my patio outside. It was hot outside. And I was just working out. I literally dragged myself to the patio and I was just working out. I didn't know what the heck this sickness was. I guess it was COVID at the time, but I felt terrible. I still had to get it done. And I still got that 5 minute cold shower. It took me 10 minutes probably to take that cold shower because I was trying to put the hot water on so my body can get warm. It wouldn't work because my body was freezing. And I was just like, it was just that moment like, wow, somebody really want to see me failed. And when I heard that voice, I put on that cold shower. It was the most uncomfortable thing I've done in that year, 2021, I think it was. But I went to bed. I felt good. And it took about 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, I lost about 10 pounds. That's when my abs started showing again. Because whenever you have COVID, you lose appetite to eat. I wasn't eating a lot as much as I used to. I just ate my protein, got it out the way. And yeah, I got in shape pretty quick. But for those right now, if anyone has like any challenges, any difficulties on being consistent, I want to see it in the chat so I can answer some of those questions, some of those concerns you guys have, so I can help you by answering them and see what I can do best. But for those who's looking to create discipline, the easiest way to do it, and it's not easy, but to do it, you have to do the things you have not been doing for the past few years. Whatever you're doing right now and you're not consistent and you're not disciplined, stop. Weed out all the unnecessary things. Are you partying? Give up partying. Right? is probably more important than your success. And if it is, then you're probably not in the right engine or the right vehicle for you to become successful.
Well, you know what?
Everything in your life right now
So,
that it's not
Ali,
necessary.
Alejandro, you said something earlier. I want to highlight this for a second because
What's that?
you spoke about how when you were talking with your buddy who does solar, and you guys mentioned like the discipline side of things, right? How like it gets you to the state of being at a high, at a peak state. And one of the best definitions I think I've ever heard of definite of discipline is discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and then follow it.
Yeah.
Right? To give yourself a command and then to follow it.
Yeah.
And how unstoppable could a person be if every time they spoke and they said this was going to happen, it happened? Right? Because we all said we want those employees. It's so hard to find good help. Who's ever heard that one? So damn
Yeah.
hard to find good help. I can never find good help. Well, yeah, because the people that you attract are at the same level as you. They're at the same vibrationary level as you. They have the same principles of you. So if you're an individual who lacks discipline, you begin to attract that lack of discipline, which also leads me to believe I am lacking discipline in my life because my contractors have been sucking recently. Well, like luckily I have Karen on my team, and Karen's absolutely phenomenal. So Alejandro, like I just don't want people to miss out on that fact that the discipline isn't something that they're going to want to do, but that's what it is. It's giving yourself a command and then following the command regardless. And
Yeah.
I am curious for you, man, right? Like, as you are taking on new challenges and you're coming up against things that maybe you already like, are there things that basically when you think about telling yourself to do it nowadays that there's almost like apprehension to it? Like, you tell yourself, like, Alejandro, we need to go do this. And you're like almost dreading having to go and do it before it even starts. Does that happen to you still, or does that not happen? Because I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. Like they know they shouldn't exercise, but they think about going to the gym, and then it almost like gives them anxiety thinking about going to the gym.
Yeah. You're still gonna have it. I still have it till this day. But when you take the first step on doing what you told yourself you're gonna do, that's when like that dopamine started to kick in. Yeah. Yeah, I heard you, bitch voice. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm on the way to the gym right now. Like that dopamine starts to kick in. Like you feel so powerful, bro. Like I don't know. I can't really like explain it to a point like where you guys can understand. You just have to experience it yourself. Like you have to be desperate to become successful. You have to be desperate to be that new version of yourself. If you're not desperate, if you're not willing to let go your old version, like I don't know what to tell you. Like I've tried when I first started 75 hard, I was like, "Hey man, you should try 75 hard, man." Like this is magic that happens. Like all of a sudden you start to think of something you want to manifest and like boom, 2 months later it's there. You want to make six figures? Boom, 2 months you make six figures. You want to be more disciplined. You want to get abs, bro? Bro, just do 75 hard, do this. And what I started to realize, people would try it. Just because they know me as a friend, they would say, I'll try it. I'll give it a shot. And I'll tell you, I didn't know back then, but as soon as you said, I'll try it, you instantly failed. You instantly failed because I didn't do it to try it. I did it because I was desperate to become someone new, my better version of me. I was desperate, super desperate. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm done being the old, like, bro, it's just, I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I don't have a taste bud for it. I don't think about it. That's something I used to drink consistently, guys, since I was freaking 16 years old to 25. That was my to-go-to, especially when you go into to your friend's house, your buddy's friends. Yeah, man, bring the beer, bro. It's consistent. And like something that they clicked, it was done. It was over. No more.
Bro.
What was that, Sam?
Yeah. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
You sound a little bit muffled.
You sound like you're stuck in a trash can.
Well,
virtually swimming in Puerto Rico right now.
okay, so this is what I wanted to. Here, let me move this. Is this
Ooh,
better?
There we go.
by the way, did anyone see what Brenda put real quick before you go in? Because Brenda just said one of my favorite names, Rob Dyrdek. Also, if anyone can ever get me to introduce me to Rob Dyrdek, which Sam, low-key, that'll be you. So Sam, please introduce me to Rob Dyrdek. Rob Dyrdek can't dabble in discipline.
Yeah, I got you. It's funny. That's one that we're definitely gonna work on. But I want to ask you this, Alejandro, because there's that bitch voice internally, right? Which is you, right? It's all the bad stuff in you, and you're right. Like you should be aware of it, listen to it, and then reverse engineer why the hell it's saying it, because it'll give you more insight into who you are and what to combat. Here's another thing, though. One thing that we didn't hit on. I firmly believe a lot of people are inconsistent, not just because of themselves, but more so because of the company they keep around them.
Oh yeah.
Can we talk about other people influencing how those bad influences?
Can I be honest with you, Sam? I don't know if I had it. I don't know if for me if it was different, but here's what's crazy. My roommate, we've known each other forever. Love that guy. He's also my business partner and one of my businesses. He till this day still does the same thing I used to do back then. Not as much anymore, but he was still partying. He was like, let's go party. Let's drink alcohol. Let's just go do something fun. What's crazy, that actually pushed me even more towards my better version, because like I was just getting anxieties thinking of going back to my old self by watching his actions. His action didn't motivate me to go back to my old self. It actually demotivated me. It pushed me even more. So when you say that, it's like really difficult for me to comprehend like that feeling. But of course, I don't hang around people that do things that I don't want to do or that's going to help me. So for him, just by watching him motivates me to continue becoming better. And he did pick up a few things of what I'm doing, and he's doing them, but not all of it, obviously.
Well, here's the thing, right? You've got an interesting kind of, I think, power over that, right? You have the ability to use these people, like how you utilize the bitch voice and how you listen to it to understand what you don't like about it. You kind of do that in certain things with other people, right? Like the people you may have around you, right? Daryl, Marlon, I want to hear, for you guys, because this has been huge for me. Have you had to cut out human beings to become more consistent?
Easy. The answer is absolutely. No, like seriously, like real talk. And like I got to answer with that level of like aggression, because I've spent a lot of times trying to not cut them out. And what you realize is you're actually doing a disservice to people. And real quick, if y'all are listening, I want you to put it in the chat. How many of you, because we had about 20-something people live with us right now, how many of you ever had to cut somebody out of your life? Put something in the chat. Like if you ever had to do that, put a yes in the chat. I want to see who else has ever felt that they've gotten to the place where they recognize you had to let go of some people. And this doesn't mean in a negative way, because Sam, to that point, I was at the place where I wanted to bring everybody with me. I mean, we discovered during the personality types, I'm like that talkative, friendly personality type. I'm an emotional human being, and I want everyone to be with me on the top of the mountain. The problem is not everybody wants to go on the top of the mountain. And when you allow them to stay in your life at the current location with their current behavior, you're telling them on a subconscious level, you're telling them very factually and very actually your current way of living, your current behavior, your current standards, because that's what they are, they're standards. Your current standards are acceptable here. The way you conduct yourself is acceptable, and I'm proving it because I'm allowing you to stay in my life and I'm staying in your life. So you don't need to change. That's what I'm telling you by allowing you to continue to be around me, to exist in my world and for me to exist in your world. If you want to do people a favor, because here's the selfish thing you're doing when you don't cut them out. You're allowing them to stay at that lower level. You're telling them that that's all you think that they're capable of, and you feel bad for them, so you're going to stick around. You're co-signing the bad behavior. You're at fault. You keeping your terrible friends in your life, that's your problem. That's your fault. And you're stealing from them. You're not just stealing from you. They're not just stealing from you. You're not just stealing from your family. You're stealing from them and their families. Not cool. Change it. Change it now. And that's the thing. You can change it. That's why we're having these conversations. That's why this is a paradigm shift. Daryl, have you had to cut people out?
Bro, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And it was hard. It was hard. And you know what was crazy? You will keep going through the same things over and over and over until you cut that person up, until you learn that lesson. Right? Like I stayed broke for a long time until I cut some certain people out of my life. And when they're out of my life, it's just like everything started working. You know, I'm not blaming them, right? It's always your fault, you know, but you have to be able to notice when those people are not benefiting you, when they're holding you back, for sure. And when they are holding you back, it's time to cut it off. Listen to your gut. Your gut does not lie to you. I'm telling you, your gut does not lie to you.
I want to, right? Zach had to cut out he had to cut out the best man in his wedding. Like, guys, make no bones about this. The worst influences in your life aren't your friends. It could be family. It could be the people that you live with. It could be parents. It could be uncles, brothers, sisters, sometimes even your spouse, right? And the reality is this, guys. It's not that they're bad people. They're just on their journey, right? They're on their journey and they haven't realized, or no one has brought it to their attention. Like Marlon said, right? The marketplace of all of society has so far, up until now, shown them that this type of behavior is okay because that is why they keep doing it. It hasn't been retrained. It hasn't been reset. So when you're dealing with these people, it's not that they're bad people. They just haven't gotten to that clarity yet that this is maybe a bad behavior. This is a bad pattern. Marlon.
Choose me. All right, cool. Coach, put me in the game.
Go for it, bro.
I want to give everyone some very strong action items right now. I'm going to give a very, very strong statement right now. I want you all to take out a piece of paper, pull out your cell phone, pull out the notes on your cell phone. Do whatever it is you do to capture thoughts and ideas right now. And I want you to think about the person in your life who you need to let go. Because as I said that, as I told you to think about that person, a picture flashed into your mind, a name flashed into your mind. And now it's scaring the hell out of you and your brain is going into justify mode. Your brain is going into savior mode and it's trying to hold the status quo. It's trying to hold its current reality together. So it's starting to tell you why it's a bad idea to get rid of that person. It's starting to tell you the argument that's going to happen. It's starting to show you how that person can change and how they can be better. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to have a very real conversation with them to let them go. I need you to have a breakup right now because I had a breakup with my best friend from kindergarten. I had a breakup with my best friend from kindergarten, and it was the first time I ever looked at and saw my best friend cry because of something that I did. Like I watched him cry. And that it didn't feel good, but it was the right thing to do because I had a very honest conversation with him. And I said, listen, man, I'm tired of this. I love you to death. I really do. You're a brother to me. You were the home I was able to go to as a child when I felt like an outsider. Your mom took me in. You took me in. You made me feel accepted. However, we've spent the last couple of years doing nothing but sitting on the couch, getting high, and going to White Castle. This isn't acceptable for me anymore. I have dreams, I have aspirations, I have goals, and I need help achieving it. And you're not helping me get there. And I want to bring you along, but you don't seem to want to go. You seem okay with this current situation. I wish you would come with me, but I see that you don't want to, and I don't want to push you. So I'm going, and you're welcome to come at any time, but I'm no longer waiting. And that was the conversation I had with him. And I watched him cry. And here's what I thought would happen. I thought I would see him get angry. I thought I would see him get hurt, and it would make me want to change my mind. But you know how you know when you're making the right decision? Is when that decision is void of emotion. When you're sitting there and you're living through the thick of it, and you can still see so clearly. However, it's scary leading up to that because it's entering the eye of the storm. I want you all to do that. I want you to have a conversation like that with the person whose name you're looking at right now on your cell phone, on that piece of paper. Whether it's text message, whether it's phone call, whether you say, hey, let's meet for coffee for 15 minutes. And if you go to meet them in person, please write down on a piece of paper, put bullet points of the things that you want to address, because you're going to try and punk out. You're going to try and punk out in person. But I need you to let them know, like, hey, I wrote some stuff down, and before we do anything, I need to say what's on this card. I need to have this conversation with you. Because if you don't have that conversation, like Daryl said, it will keep repeating itself over and over and over in your year. And what will be consistent is you will consistently be standing in the same place come 2024. We don't want that to happen. We don't want that happening. We want you to grow. So that's homework. I know sometimes we give homework at the end of an episode. That's homework right now. That's homework ASAP. And if they have a problem with what you did, tell them to come watch this episode. Let them know who told you to do it. I'll have a conversation with them. I'll talk to them.
I got your back, bro. Anybody come at you crazy, I got your back.
Yo, that's a fact. So I want y'all to do that. Sorry, I know. Like, I just got like a little. I get passionate when we talk about this kind of stuff. Like, excuse. That's the passion.
It's only right, bro. It's
No,
only right.
And you're right. You're absolutely right. And it's funny, guys, because it's funny that you said that. I had a one-on-one with one of my mentors, Kent Clothier, who's phenomenal human being, and he has a way of just cutting through things. Right? A lot of times we're told the same advice over and over and over again. It just doesn't land until the right person says it a certain way, and it just hits us like a freaking train, right? Kent told me in our one-on-one, and he was like, he actually told me, hey, think about all your friends right now. And then I, like, several came to mind. And then he said, just so you know, 9 out of 10 of those people you're going to outgrow. You will never see. And when he said that, it hit me, and it hurt. It actually hurt, right? I was wondering, I was like, and what hurt the most was the fact that I knew he was right. And he told me, Sam, you're on a trajectory that not a lot of people can follow. The only people who can follow on that trajectory are the people who are meant for that trajectory. To be honest, those are very, very, very rare breeds of human beings. And he implored me and insisted that I cut out all the noise, I cut out all the people, even if they're fantastic human beings, and even if they're high-level investors, if there's toxic traits that they have that make me not perform at my best, or don't push me to be my best, or maybe allow me to indulge in my own natural toxic behaviors, I need to cut them out. Shortly after that meeting, shortly after that discussion and that realization, I think something really amazing happened. Something really freaking amazing happened. And that was the fact that we all kind of came. We were talking about it. We were all talking about it for a while. But that was the moment that we all officially came together and then launched the Think Big podcast, which was a phenomenal thing for me. And I say this so selfish, like ridiculously selfishly, guys. Because it basically allowed me to cut out so many people that I was placing focus on, right? And I love, Marlon, I'll introduce you to Rob Dyrdek if you introduce me to Alex Hormozi, okay?
Done.
So,
Deal.
there
Got you.
So one thing that Alex Hormozi says, and that Marlon, I've sent you this video, guys, and if you guys ever want to know, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and shoot me a DM. And then as long as you subscribe to my 3 brothers here, I'm going to go ahead and shoot over a link to a video that I think is the most important video I have ever seen in my entrepreneurial journey. I forced Marlon to watch it. The other night, I forced Daryl to watch it alongside a campfire. Guys, that video is powerful, right? Okay.
Dude, it was
Facts.
insane. I mean, we literally sat around the campfire and watched that, like, here at the house for, like, oh my gosh, like, insane.
Yep, that video.
It was so valuable. We watched it. It was like 5 of us watching it on the iPhone 5, and we were just all tuned in, like, in our seats.
Yep. and it's the most powerful video I've ever seen. It's changed my life. And so if you guys subscribe to these three guys, you have to subscribe to them on YouTube. If you do that, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll send it to you. Here's what I want to talk about. Well, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek or a little spoiler from that video. Hormozi talks about this, guys. He talks about how not time is not an entrepreneur's most important resource. Attention is, right? And we place little marbles of attention on things in life, right? Your childhood trauma, that's a marble, right? Your work, that's a marble, right? Your stress, that's a marble. Your relationships are marbles. And sometimes we have marbles of attention that are too big and too emphatic on toxic relationships, on toxic behaviors, on our own downfalls when it comes to things like consistency. And then we have to audit ourselves. I want you guys to actually do this, because this once I heard him say that, it actually made me, that video not only did it change my life, but it changed my life because it got me to do things practically. And to kind of Marlon's point, I want you guys to actually go a little bit further than that. And I want you to look at all of your relationships. Literally, write down a list of everyone that you call a honest friend. Okay? Your friends, your families, your loved ones, right? People that you hang with. And then I want you to honestly write down if this is a relationship that truly pushes you to be better, or is it just there for the sake of convenience because you know them and their acquaintances? What you'll quickly find out is the people who are actually not critical to your success over the long term are usually the most negative people in your life. And what we end up doing is we end up giving permission to people who are not critical to our success a ridiculous amount of power and influence on our lives and our behaviors. It is insane that we do that.
And Sam, I want to highlight something as well, because here's something I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, audit your relationships, please. And that's something I'm grateful to say you get me to do, because I can easily like be a golden retriever and just want to be everybody's friend and want to spend my time everywhere. And you consistently remind me, like, hey, Marlon, like, the world needs you to do more good. The world needs you to go and construct relationships that only you can construct. Right. And I recognize that. And I appreciate you for reminding me that, because it puts me back into an intentional seat. You put me back in the driver's seat of my life. And I want to highlight something, because some of you have some really awesome, friendly personalities, right? Like Liz inside here, Elizabeth, she's phenomenal. Such a great, wonderful human being. And what can happen is you're going to attract people who are kind and who are nice. However, they don't help you progress. So these are lovely distractions to have in your life, right? And they make you feel good. However, they don't really take you anywhere. And it's important now to have discernment and to discern who is here for the mission, who is going to help progress the mission, because there will be a time to sit and play and to lollygag. However, many of you came here because you want to grow. You want to utilize the time you have. 2023, we're already about to be the second month over. We're about to be done with the first quarter. And you want change. You want to be at a higher standard. So make sure that the people in your life hold you to that standard. Daryl calls me out on stuff all the time. Sam calls me out on stuff so much times that sometimes I avoid calling him, because I'm like, I'm not ready for this, but I know I need it. Real talk, I know I need it. Alejandro, this man, literally his presence, like, I don't even have to say anything to him. And like, I just think, like, damn it, like, I'm letting Alejandro down. And those are the sort of people you want to invite into your life, but recognize they can't take a seat because someone else is already sitting in their chair. And you've got to ask that person to kindly get up, because it's your bus.
Oh, guys, that's just insane. And guys, I want people to realize this. All four of us know tons of people who are massive successes in business, right? Huge success. And one thing that I think we can all agree on is the higher the entrepreneur, the higher their level, what happens to their circle? Gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Why? Because they get better at a key Marlon mentioned earlier, and I'm a little bit disappointed that he didn't go into it higher level, but it's okay. And that is discernment, right? They are so discerning of who is truly there to support the mission, of who is truly there to give to them relentlessly, and who is there to take from them, who is there, who is critical, and who there is distraction that's a bonus and out of convenience or comfort, right? So just know this. I had to deal with this. I am still dealing with this. I am still cutting people out to this day. And I have people like I literally right now I'm mentally thinking of about 3 to 4 people that I know will never hear from me again. And it hurts. Like it personally hurts me because I love these human beings and I want them to win. Here's the thing that makes me sad is that I know they're not going to see it for the same reasons that I do. I know that they will be hurt by it too. And they will react to toxic ways. Right? They're going to talk shit. They're going to say bad things. And they don't realize that from my perspective, I'm doing this out of ego or narcissism or anything to that effect. I'm just doing this because I have why and I have to take care of that why. And anything from it needs to be cut out. So just know and accept that in order to grow, your circle needs to be smaller. And the most important is I want to talk about this real quick. The ratio, right? Think about this. If you have 100 people in your life, right, and they're all equal in your life, each person, their input is worth 10%. What happens when you have 5 people? Each person's input is worth 20%. The smaller your circle gets, the more important each voice in that circle is. So make sure you have 5 of the right people. Make sure the 10 people in there are the best 10 people for the job. And what is that job? To hold you to being the greatest freaking human being that you can be. Now, we've got a few minutes left. I think we kind of, as we always do, go down all the things that make us passionate. I want to give these people a little bit of, and Alejandro, we can start right after. I think you have something to say. But after Alejandro goes into it, I want us to kind of give away our takes on like actual. Alejandro talked about 75 hard. Like Daryl, I'm sure you have some tips and tricks and tactics that you use to hold yourself to consistency. I know I have mine. I know Marlon has his. But Alejandro, what's up?
I was going to give the homework, and also I wanted to highlight something you said about friends. So like really quick, guys, you have to be okay with not having to explain to your friends on why you're doing certain things to become successful. Forget about that. You don't have to explain yourself. Like the my friend that I have now, it got to a point where he stopped inviting me out because every time he said, "Hey, bro, let's go," I'm like, "No, I'm good." He asked me why. I said, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm working, bro. I have to go to sleep. I have to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I have a lot of shit to do." And that became consistent. "Hey, can we go?" No. Then 2 weeks later, never again. When he went out without asking me, I was like, "Hey, bro, why didn't you invite me? Hey, bro, you always say no." You're right. You're right. So you don't have to explain yourself to your friends, guys. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. And there's going to be some people out there that are going to be like, I'm okay not being a millionaire. I'm okay doing $100,000 a year. I'm okay, not being in shape. That's cool. If you're happy, that's cool. Keep it to yourself. But having a friend, if you want to be in my circle, like that's not going to be acceptable. And that's not being me being mean. That's not me being rude. Is that I have to protect my energy. This is something me and Marlon speak about a lot. Protecting your energy. Keeping those that can damage your environment, damage your energy, damage your path to success, keeping them out. You have to do this for yourself.
Bro, that's so spot on. And like, I can't let this piece pass. Like, that is one of the scariest people to keep in your life, the complacent person, right? The person that tells you where you're at is just fine. It's good enough.
Oh my God.
Right? Like you should be satisfied with where you're at. No, you should be grateful for where you're at, but never satisfied.
Yeah.
Don't be satisfied.
Go
You gotta
celebrate.
stay hungry. It's like you gotta keep moving. And I want to answer this question, right? Because this is so good. I think Sam and Alejandro, y'all are like the best to answer this. Is how can I find them? Right? There's no one around me like that. Like Paris, I think I'm saying his name right or her name right. Parisa asked, how can I find them? How can I find those people, those next level friends, those higher standard friends? Where can you find these people?
I would say the easiest way is become like those people first. That's how you're going to seek those friends. Become like those people first, and I promise you, you will eventually meet up. It won't be a coincidence. You'll be like, oh wow, you're disciplined too. What's up? It just happens.
Yeah, I love it. Elizabeth said right here too. Like, yo, right in the chat, like low key. Look at the people who are also watching this. Look at the people who have tuned in for the last hour, who have been coming here for the last 17 weeks. Right. And like, I start to get a little animated. I get a little excited. Please don't think I'm yelling at you. Right. I just want you to really understand this is where we find one another. It's going into meetup groups. It's going into these sort of podcasts where we're connecting. I connect with so many people on social media. In fact, every last one of the guys you see on the screen, Alejandro, Sam, Daryl, I met all of them online first, whether it was Instagram or Facebook, because I saw that they were also on pursuit. They were in pursuit. We were at the same videos. Like I'm watching another YouTuber and I'm seeing Daryl commenting. I'm in a Facebook group and I'm seeing Sam's face all over the place, which low-key, by the way, Daryl thought Sam was a bot. Sorry, bro. I had to.
That was supposed to make that online, bro.
But like this is low-key how we find one another. It's we go into different places where each other are and we connect in the comments section, right? Like y'all have seen Elizabeth blowing up the chat. You've been seeing Brenda blow up the chat. You've been seeing Karen blow up the chat. Like connect with those people, reach out, like, put in. I used to put my phone number inside the chats and say like, hey, who wants to connect after this call? And I would get on the phone with total strangers. And some of those people I've never spoken to again. Some of those people have become some of my best friends, people I do life with. So this is where you find them. You are in the right place at the right time as the right person with the right people. Right,
bro. I got your number from you dropping it in a Zoom chat. That's how we got on our first call, bro. I just called you.
No, that's how I got on the first call with Sam. I got Sam's number out of a Zoom call, and then I met Alejandro through my old roommate Luciano, and I met Luciano through Ingrid, and I met Ingrid through Caroline, and I met Caroline on a Zoom call.
Yo, another way, I was just thinking about this, right? Like, and it's just logical to me, right? Just to answer that question, where do you find other disciplined people? A good place to try is the gym. Like most people who are disciplined go to the gym at the same time every day, right? So if you want to find some disciplined people, go to the gym every time at the same day and find the other people who are going there at the same time. And you make some friends. You never know what they do.
100%.
Yep. I want to leave out with the homework real quick because I know Sam, you still have some stuff you wanted to say, and I'll make it really simple, really simple. Number one, find just one person that you can text every single day, every single night on three things, just three things that you want to complete, 3 tasks that you have to complete that day that's going to help you move forward in your business / your life. Whatever, it could be as simple as I'm going to take a walk for 20 minutes outside today. I am going to take an hour and watch a podcast on how to better myself in real estate. I am going to read one page, or I'm going to listen to an Audible. Text those 3 things to that one person.
Yeah,
That's our
This is-
messages right there.
Like, this is literally like my message thread with Alejandro. Like, y'all see, like, if I just keep scrolling and you guys take time to pause the videos, you'll see, like, this has been our conversation thread for the last couple of months. It is just me and this dude going back and forth, like, executed. Here's my 3 things for tomorrow. Executed. Here's my 3 things for tomorrow. Executed. Here's my 3 things for tomorrow. Execute. Here's my 3 things for tomorrow. Execute. Like, this is what we do. 1 brick at a time, or in this case, 3 bricks, right? 3 bricks a day, 1 brick at a time.
That's it, guys. And I promise you that's going to, you won't feel it the first week, the second week, third week, but after that month, you're going to start feeling this dopamine, this excitement to actually execute your task every day, because you get to text that person, I executed my tasks today. You get to go to sleep in peace. That person knows that you executed your task. And this is one of the reasons why I'm quiet. Like you said, Sam, I'm quiet with this discipline, because I wasn't searching for other people's opinion on what I want to do. Marlon is someone that I can trust with my energy. If I'm slacking, he's going to reach out to me and he's going to be honest. And I know he has great intentions behind it. But when you post something on Instagram and now you're dependent on social media to tell you, ooh, you failed. Ooh, what is this that you're doing? Ha, ha, ha. I knew you were going to fail. I can care less. If for some reason I didn't execute one of my tasks, Marlon reached out to me, hey, bro, you're slacking. Let's not do that. Right? And I know he has great intentions. You have to be coachable. You have to be able to take criticism. You have to be okay with that. I'm one of those guys that I feel like I know a lot, but if someone comes to me and tell me, hey, check this out, here's something new, I will sit there like a student. I will ask you questions. I will take notes. I even take notes during our podcast. Sam, I took a lot away from you during these 17 episodes of podcast. Marlon, Daryl, I take notes. Always be a student. If you want to better yourself, listen to people that are doing things that you want to do. It's quite simple. Stop being so defensive about it. So that's the homework concluded. Find one person, text them every single day. Tell them the 3 tasks you have to execute. And at the end of the day, towards that night, hey, I executed my task. Here are my tasks for the next day. We write down our tasks for the next day. So when you go to sleep, you know what your mission is the next day. And when you wake up, your mission has already been dreamt of. Like you dreamed about your mission. And when you wake up, now you have a purpose. Now you have something to do. You don't feel lost. So that's that. So I'll pass the mic over here to Mr. Sam. Sorry, Sam. Didn't mean to say
Wait. Before you pass it to Sam, I gotta recognize this man, Fernando. Yo, Fernando said I executed my task of my first wholesale deal from a convo with Alex. Yo, Fernando, good stuff, bro. That first deal is the hardest deal. Congratulations, man. Like, that doesn't happen on accident. Congrats. But now, Sam, you got this, brother.
Hey, shout out to Fernando, man. This guy, if you guys are looking to dispo some deals, he's a badass dispo guy. I learned a lot from Fernando. He's a cool guy.
All right, fantastic, guys. I'm actually gonna scrap it. I was gonna say some dope shit, and then you know what? Alejandro came in and said some doper shit. So, that homework is 100% the right homework. It is the best homework. And what I want to do is instead, I want to just actually, I think that was enough fire for tonight. I think what I want to do is I want to close it up. I want to leave you because I think that the most important thing is actually not knowledge, which is just basic information. The most important thing is this thing called wisdom. And wisdom is knowledge plus experience. It is information with experience behind it, lessons learned from it. And I want to leave you guys with some wisdom from my good friend, Ed Milet. Not my good friend. I wish I knew him. Marlon, if you ever meet him, introduce me to him. Or just hook me up as a friend, bro. Ed Milet says this, guys, the key to self-confidence, right? And this also goes to consistency, is actually all about what Alejandro's homework is. You get self-confidence, you get consistency, you become a force of freaking nature, not by making posts on social media.
not by screaming affirmations to people that actually don't give a damn about you.
Mm.
You do it by keeping promises you made to yourself.
Mm. Oh man, we can exit the chat. That's
Guys,
you
that's
have
it.
to, you have to do them like that. Sam. Mic drop.
Well,
Let the mic
well,
drop.
We'll see you next week, guys.